the events of the last 12 months, perhaps I have more to reflect on than most.
The royal family is in genuine crisis.
Have royal scandals damaged the country's reputation?
The House of Windsor should be binding the nation together.
¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos a M2. ¿Están listos para algo más de realeza? Sé que hemos hablado mucho de la realeza últimamente por motivos obvios, pero, a ver, la semana pasada ya se estrenó la serie The Crown en Netflix y pues pudimos hablar con sus majestades y honestamente yo he seguido la carrera de Imelda Swanton y de Jonathan Pryce mucho más que la de los reyes de Inglaterra, así que es un placer enorme poder platicar con ellos y hasta ver cómo se ríen de una. Vamos a ver un poquito de lo que nos dijeron respecto a si es esto o no una culminación en sus carreras. Y claramente no se piensan retirar. Veamos.
I really first have to say thank you for so many amazing feelings, not just for this, but yes, but so many times we've gotten to see you on stage and doing so many things, so amazing. And I have to say, between the two of you, I believe you have played most of the most emblematic roles people know about the British people or being in productions about them. So coming now and interpreting the Queen and the Prince, what would you say? Do you believe it's sort of a combination for people who have lived our whole lives watching you do this? There's a lot more that's coming in ahead of that, but do you believe it's sort of that?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I think we've spent all our lives watching the Queen and Prince Philip in this country. And, you know, in a way, she worked 2 days, up until 2 days before she died. And as an actor, you know, actors don't retire. The Queen didn't retire, the royal family don't retire. So there's quite a parallel to be drawn there, I think. And it's nice playing someone who, for the Queen, who just goes to work every day. And, you know, as an actor, particularly, probably more in theatre, if you're doing a long run of something, you know, you just go to work every day. I'm too tired, it doesn't matter, you go to work. I'm bored, right. It doesn't matter, you go to work. And, you know, for the Queen, duty was the number one sort of ingredient in this person and in Philip and in the royal family. That's what they're there for. And I think they all take it very seriously.
I just want to say, when I say culmination, I don't mean that please keep doing this forever and never and never. We need you forever. And Jonathan Pryce, I mean, you've done the Pope, you've done Hamlet. Yeah, you've done, what haven't you done? You did Engineer in Saigon, which was the first time I got to see you on stage and I was blown away. So the range of characters you've both done is so incredible. You've done lowlights like Engineer or Dirty Rotten Scoundrels on stage, and now you do a wonderful Prince Philip here.
Yeah.
Because
well, I'm hoping to do Prince Philip the musical.
I would certainly fly
where you get to see him dance.
To see that.
Yeah, that's the next job.
Well, that would be amazing, but
be a miracle.
You've also done popes and dictators, so I think you have the whole range covered by now, right?
Yeah. I got it covered, yeah.
Claramente, estamos en la quinta temporada, va a haber una más. Y bueno, las primeras 4 eran otros actores quienes interpretaban en diferentes etapas de sus vidas a la reina Isabel II y al príncipe Felipe. Sin embargo, pues ya estamos aquí en los años 90 y fue un momento particularmente difícil para la realeza. Habían programas de televisión en la Gran Bretaña haciendo votos de ¿por quién vota? Porque desaparezca la realeza o no. El Partido Liberal había entrado en el poder y no sabían cómo iba a pasar esa interacción. Y sí, estaba la princesa Diana, ya hablaremos de eso, pero el sentido del deber del que tanto habla esta serie y del que tanto habla quien cree en la monarquía victoriana, ahí está presente. ¿Cómo aplica esto a la vida de estos grandes actores? ¿Así?
And you know, obviously the timing and of the season coming out, I believe it's beautiful since I've already seen most of the season, and I think it's as Peter Morton said, a wonderful love letter to Queen Elizabeth. But you have, as the actors, as the people who bring this to life now to us. What are your feelings towards what you're doing for her?
Well, I think there's an ease in our relationship that you see in the relationship between Prince Philip and the Queen. Imelda and I have worked together before. We've known each other for well over 30 years. And there's a lot about our friendship, which when you're on the floor acting is unspoken. There's lots of things you don't need to talk about. And that's what a long relationship is like. And that's what we're seeing with Philip and Elizabeth in Series 5 is the culmination of this long relationship where things don't necessarily have to be said. And when they do say things, when Prince Philip does voice his support for the Queen, voices his love for the Queen, I think it's going to come as some kind of surprise. It's going to inform the audience a lot more about their personal life. Season 5 is.
The Queen died and we had the 10 days of mourning and all the documentation that was shown, and why people queued for days and days and days to pay tribute to someone who promised their whole life would be dedicated to serving the people. The appreciation of that, I think, was breathtaking. And of course, not the whole of England are monarchists, but I think people respected someone who kept their word and did what she promised to do with such grace.
But through, with real people, ordinary people, that sense of duty is important, and it manifests itself, I find, in your duty to, as performers, the duty to turn up every day to the stage, the theatre, and in life, your duty to your friends, a devotion towards your friends, being loyal to them, and it's all everything you see the Queen do is reflected in real people, and I think the value of seeing the Crown is to remind people that it's good to have a sense of duty and loyalty and a devotion to your fellow man.
Y en Londres se llevó a cabo, por supuesto, la premiere de The Crown en su quinta temporada. Y se ha hablado con muchas personas, pero yo creo que tienen que ver el favor que le hicieron al príncipe, ahora rey, Carlos, con el actor que lo está interpretando, es Dominic West. Tal vez el nombre no le suene a todos, pero cuando lo vean van a decir, lo vi aquí, acá, actorazo. Veamos.
It's a time of his life that was, not only the prime of his life, but also in many ways the most difficult time of his life. And I felt enormous empathy and sympathy for him, in fact. And that's been one of the challenges and also the joys of playing it. I don't think it's flattering, no. I think that would be doing him and the audience a disservice, but I think it's fair, and I think it's I think Peter has always written with the idea of giving everyone a fair hearing, and I love the guy, and I wouldn't have done it without a feeling that it was a fair hearing and an empathetic one.
I felt I looked at photographs of her at the time and realised that all the pictures of her were taken probably by a man hiding in a bush outside her house. And so she either isn't aware that there's someone hiding in a bush outside her house, or she's just caught sight of a man hiding in a bush outside her house. And she just looked so very unhappy in all those pictures. And I felt it was important to do justice to that unhappiness. That while she was having an affair with the Prince of Wales, her marriage was falling apart and her mother wasn't well, and it was a very hard time for her, and I wanted to do justice to that.
Have royal scandals damaged the country's reputation?
The House of Windsor should be binding the nation together, setting an example of idealized family life. It's a situation that cannot help but affect the stability of the country.
Hemos visto a tantas actrices interpretar a la princesa Diana que uno diría, ya qué más pueden hacer. Pero miren, desde Naomi Watts hasta Kristen Stewart, el número es impresionante, incluso en la temporada anterior una Diana más joven. Pero el trabajo que hace Elizabeth Debicki, la vieron en Tenet, por ejemplo, es de no creerse, es fantástico. Y aquí la tenemos para que nos cuente cómo interpretó en los momentos más complicados, en su separación con el príncipe Carlos, en lo que estaba pasando en la Gran Bretaña respecto a su popularidad, pues con esta actriz que se convierte en Diana de Gales.
How did you do that? I mean, it's somebody that I'm sure you also had clearly on the radar. So what were the nuances you decided to use, work with the directors? What?
I mean, it's kind of like any role, really. You know, you have the interpretation that Peter gives you as an actor, the script, and he wrote an amazingly complex portrait of her, I think, really contradictory, layered, surprising, funny. And so you have this amazing template that you get to play with, and then you approach it like you do any character, where you just think, how do I bring this to life, and how do I give this truth and complexity? And so and then it's sort of, that's what you do as an actor, that's what you're trying to do all the time. And then there are, with this job, a totally unique set of circumstances where you're also then learning the mannerisms and learning the voice and understanding how the costume is constructed, and the hair and the makeup is so specific. And so there's kind of two things happening at once.
Finalmente, The Crown, quinta temporada, ya la pueden ver completita en Netflix. Y sí, empezamos a ver cosas muy interesantes respecto a la que se supone que será la última, la sexta. Meghan Markle, ya veremos. Gracias a este gran equipo, me encanta estar en el estudio con estas personas maravillosas. Soy Susana Moscatel, nos vemos muy pronto.